Hey guys, it's Brittany, and welcome to the world of creepy cinema. So, as you might have guessed already, this is a horror and thriller themed channel. It is my favorite genre and one that I've really been diving into during quarantine. It's actually been kind of cathartic for me. So, with that said, I'm just going to get into what I've watched in the month of September. I'm signed into my Letterboxd right now, which I will link down in the description. But the first film that I watched in September is called Bottom of the World, and is a next Netflix movie from 2017. It's not a Netflix original, but it's on Netflix, and it stars Jenna Malone and Douglas Smith. Um, the tagline says, "Reality is not what it seems." This movie definitely plays with time. There's a religious aspect. They kind of explain what the plot is and kind of like give things away really early on in the beginning of the movie, which kind of sucks. Like it's kind of a waste of time after that point. I was hopeful about it in the beginning. It actually kind of gave me like Mandy vibes, but overall, I gave this 2 stars. I just was not a big fan. There was, I don't want to spoil it because I feel like a lot of people haven't seen it, but there's a creepy kind of Game of Thrones aspect, just to kind of give you a hint of what I'm talking about in it, which really turned me off to the whole thing. So I probably wouldn't watch it again. But I mean, if you like things that sort of mess with your head. There's like alternate realities and things like that. You might enjoy it. So next I watched The Killing of a Sacred Deer from 2017, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But he also directed The Favorite, which I like a lot. I actually didn't know that until after I'd already finished it. But this is starring Colin Farrell and Nicole Kidman and Barry Keegan. This I'd say really didn't sit well with me. I think the main thing that bothered me was the dialogue was very strange and weird. Um, there's, gosh, I don't know, it's hard to give an example, but it just, the delivery felt very dry. I don't know if that was a choice by the director. I don't know if that's the way that he wanted his actors to deliver the lines, but it felt very cold and robotic and stale, just really weird considering the things that were going on. Um, yeah, I just was not a fan. I don't think I would watch it with other people, which is a shame because I'm a fan of Nicole Kidman and Colin Farrell's probably like a top 10 actor for me, but this movie was not it. I gave it 2 stars. I watched Nightcrawler, directed by Dan Gilroy from 2014, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Riz Ahmed and Rene Russo. So this is basically about crime journalists and the things that they do to sell their stories, sell footage to get on the news for a big payday, basically. Um, I have to say, even though this is from 2014, it's even more relevant today, which is kind of sad. But they really went like balls to the wall in this movie. Jake Gyllenhaal was really good. This one really stayed with me. The ending was just, it was disgusting and heartbreaking. This character's journey was so well done and so effective. Jake Gyllenhaal's character, I gave this 4 stars. So check it out. This isn't really in the genre, but I checked out Queen and Slim, written by Lena Waithe, directed by Melina Matsoukas, starring Daniel Kaluuya, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Bokeem Woodbine. This was really well written, I have to say. Um, I think that is extremely relevant. I mean, it was only made last year, but even given what everything that's been happening in 2020, this is really hits home. It's really interesting. It's well acted. It's well paced. The only thing I didn't like is the ending. That's just me, but it's definitely worth checking out. I love that Flea was in it, and I literally didn't even recognize him until I saw the credits. I'm a Chili Peppers fan, but I didn't even know that he'd gotten into acting, so that was a little pleasant surprise. Good Time from 2017, directed by the Safdie brothers, starring Robert Pattinson, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Benny Safdie, which is really impressive because his character has a disability and him and Robert Pattinson are brothers in it, and he does a really good job. If you like look up interviews with him, as opposed to how his character like talks and acts, it's like a night and day. So that's really cool. Um, Robert Pattinson was really good in this one. Honestly, it gets me excited for the Batman because I hadn't really seen anything from him outside of Twilight, but I've heard that like his indie stuff has been really good. He's really been honing his craft since then, so I'm pretty stoked on that. Um, I've heard from people that the Safdie brothers, like the way their style and like the composers that they choose for their films, kind of throws people off. It's like sensory overload. I didn't feel that way. But then again, I haven't seen Uncut Gems yet, so that might change. But this movie, I feel like got away from the point. So basically, two brothers try and rob a bank, and the one with disability gets arrested. And so Rob Pattinson's character spends the rest of the movie trying to like bail him out, but it takes a twist and like ends up focusing on this other character, and the ending just it didn't really hit home for me. I don't know. I feel like they need to tie it together a little better, but I would check it out just for Robert's performance. I gave this 2 stars. Next, I watched Mockingjay Part 1 and 2 back to back with like a double feature kind of deal. And I watched these just because I had not seen them and it felt silly because I'd seen Hunger Games and Catching Fire like years ago. The reason I just kind of held off on these last two is because the Mockingjay book was my least favorite out of the trilogy. So yeah, but I finally checked it out, and this cast is stacked. I did not realize how many like huge stars were in these last two. Julianne Moore, the late Philip Seymour Hoffman, Elizabeth Banks, Woody Harrelson coming back, Josh Hutcherson, Jennifer Lawrence, Liam Hemsworth, Mahershala Ali, which I didn't know about. So yeah, that was really cool. Honestly, they were just okay. Like I still like the first two movies better, but I'm glad that I did like it. Jen Malone is in this one too, and she was really good at playing Joanna. Um, and there were some cool effects, I'll say that much. But other than that, I don't think I missed that much. I will say that the plot and like the story points that are like hitting home about like the government and everything, President Snow and all that, I feel like it really kind of relates to our times, which is scary, but yeah, I finally checked this out. And I gave it, let me check real quick, 3 stars for both of them. I also finally, another one that had been on my list for a while to watch is 20 Feet from Stardom. I wanted to check out the movie before I left Netflix, and this is the documentary that won the Oscar, I think in the year 2013 or 2014. And it's basically about background singers and their story. It really went in depth, like with certain ones that are famous for doing backgrounds on so many hit songs that you didn't know about. It's really interesting to kind of go into their journeys, how the industry worked back then. They interviewed a couple of the stars that worked with the background singers, which was cool, like Sting and Bruce Springsteen. So yeah, it was interesting. It didn't catch me and grab me as much as I wanted it to. I'm a huge music fan, but I think it's a good like educational tool. I think it would be good to if you're interested in learning more about music history. I think that would be good to check out. I think I gave it like 2.5 stars. So. And finally, film I watched most recently, just a few days ago, is The Devil's Advocate from 1997, directed by Taylor Hackford. I feel like this is kind of a crime, thriller, horror. Oh, it's also got Al Pacino, Keanu Reeves, and Charlize Theron. I think that it started off a little slow, and I feel dumb because I didn't realize that Al Pacino's character was Lucifer, like straight up. He wasn't possessed by Lucifer. He was actually Lucifer, like living on Earth and controlling these characters for a very specific reason, which I will not spoil in case you haven't seen it. But I thought the ending was, there were so many, it was cool because there were a lot of twists. There were like 3 different twists in the third act. So that was interesting. And I feel like they if they wanted to do a sequel, they could, but they could also kind of like let it be the way it is. So yeah, I gave this one 2.5 stars. All right, guys, that's everything I watched in September. Let me know in the comments what you guys have been looking at, and maybe I'll get some new suggestions. Also, let me know if you want me to do a 13 Days of Halloween or just like general horror-related questions, and I will do a Q&A. Until next time, which will be next Wednesday, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and stay creepy.